This is OXDF looking at another challenge from the RunCode competition last week. This time we're doing comma somewhat separated values. And this is a challenge that's in the easy category, but it's not that complicated, but it's got a real gotcha in it. I might have made it worth more points given the gotcha, but it's also a great example of where RunCode gives you examples, but they don't give you all the examples. So you really have to stop and think, just because you solve the examples doesn't mean you actually have solved the challenge. And so I'll show that here. And with many of these challenges, I don't actually remember how I solved them, but it's just, I kind of start again and solve them. I do basically remember how I hacked through this one. But so I'm gonna go do that. And then I think there's probably a more elegant way to do it. So we'll kind of explore at the end here and see if we can figure out a prettier way to get it done. So with that, let's take a look at the challenge. We hired some people to do data entry for us. It seems we were not specific enough in the conditions of success. They submitted it in CSV format, but not the one we're used to. Can you help us normalize the data into comma separated values? And you can see here the example data. Each row has its own delimiter. And so this, the delimiter here is 5 commas. Here it's a single curly brace, 5 parentheses, 4 triangle brackets, 6 squirrel, so it really looks like it can be any combination of one symbol repeated some number of times. And then we got a first name, a last name, a password, an email, a UUID, and a phone number, all here. And so I'm going to give it my program the path to this CSV data, and I expect to get out just a normal looking CSV with these same 6 columns. So that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go ahead and grab, let's see, we'll start here. We're going to grab the file here so we can make sure we have a copy of some example data. So we'll say comma.csv. We'll put that in here. We'll need that in a minute. But actually, before I even get there, what I'm going to do is going to jump over to Regex 101. That's my favorite place to go for, anytime you need to figure out a regex, this is the way to do it. Let's paste in our data here and let's make this full screen. And what's awesome about Regex 101 is you can start to craft a regex up here and watch it highlight. So, I can say I'm going to have some word characters. And if I don't know that, this is what's super cool. I can come down here and say, search for word. And it shows me right here, any word character is /lowercase w, any non-word character is /uppercase w. Perfect. So similarly, if I didn't know, start of line, start of string is the caret. So I want to really be detailed here. So I'm going to start at the start of the string. I'm going to do word character plus to get me myself the first name. And that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to do, really, I need any kind of symbol. I don't know if there's let's check. There's not really a mark for that. I could do something like a character class where I come in here and do something like this, with lots of this stuff, dots, but that's a lot to keep track of. So what I'm actually going to do, I think, is going to do anything non-white space. So that's backspace capital S plus. And then I will put that in parentheses here to capture that. And then I can do, so right now, this is capturing the entire rest of the line because there's no white space. But so now I'm going to try to get in, okay, so now I have the last name, and that's going to be more word characters. So I can do /w plus there. Now what it's doing is, because this is being greedy. It's trying to capture as much as it can, so it's still getting all the way to the end here. So maybe I'll add I can put a question mark there, and it'll make it it'll make that not greedy, so it'll capture as little as possible. And that's actually looking like, you can see the green here is what's matching there, and that's looking a lot like what I want. So what's cool here, I'm going to do what's called a back reference, I believe. Let's see. I think it's called a back reference. We'll see. If I can search for it here. No. Well, anyway, because I'm capturing, but the parentheses around here, I don't need these parentheses, right? I can just do that and it will still match just fine. But when I put the parentheses here, that gets captured. Oh, capture group right here. And it'll actually show me the first capture group. Group 1 is these 5 here, the 1 curly, in there. So what I can do is do a \1, and it's going to look for that same pattern again. And so now I've got this here. And so I can, if I, just trying to do this quick and dirty, I can come in here and do another set of words, another \1 to get myself more of the delimiter. I can't do just words here for the email address because the email addresses have dots in them. They have an @ symbol in them. But I can do something like \word dot at like that. And that's looking pretty good. Another delimiter. And now this one is a UUID. So I can do a word characters and give myself also the dash. And that's looking nice. And then I need another delimiter, and this is phone numbers. So I'm going to have digits and the dash and plus there, and I can put the $sign for end of line, and that looks really good. So I've now made this so it matches. And that looks, that's neat. So just working off what we got here, what I did when I started solving it, and we'll try it this way, and we can see where I actually fail. We'll go ahead here and open up a Python script. So put in our shebang. Oops. We're going to need to import RE for the regex module, and we're going to import sys because we always import sys for RunCode because we need to read from the command line. So we'll do with open sys.argv1. Typing is difficult tonight for some reason. And we're going to read that as f. We're going to say lines equals f.read lines. And now we've got the lines. And so we are going to walk through each line. So let's see. Let's come down here. Ooh, I didn't notice I have a previous video stuff open. Let's get out of this. And get out of that. Cool. Let's open a new one here, and we can do Python -i, comma. I need to save this first. There we go. Cool. Let's see. Index out of range. That makes sense. I didn't give it anything to run on, so we'll do comma.csv. And I can see right here I've got lines. Looks pretty good. I've read them in. Awesome. So anytime I'm going to do regex stuff, I always mess it up. So I always start just working in a terminal and then come up there and paste. So one thing I know for sure is line sub-0 I don't need because it's just the initial thing there. So let's start working off line sub-1, see if we can get something that works. Back to our regex here. Let's grab this right there. And we'll do re.search. And then we'll put in our pattern like that. And then we'll do lines sub-1, what we're going to search on, and see what we get back. Call that X for the moment. So if you do a dir on X, you can see what's useful is this. There's a group and a groups. So if we do x.groups, we can see it's pulling out the delimiters here. It's a tuple, but there's only one item in it. So if you could pull it like that. You can also do like that. Oh, let's see. I'll be honest, the difference between groups and groups always confuses me. So there you go. So x.group will give me group 1 will give me just what that delimiter is. So when I was initially solving it, I said, so we're going to do for, so the first thing we need to do actually is print lines sub-1 dot strip. There's I don't know if you remember, there's a new line character on line sub-1 right here, and I don't want that to print or I'll get double new lines and it won't match because it's got to match exactly. And then we can do for line in lines 1 through the end, and we will do we can do delim equals re.search right there. Except for I made this mistake in a previous video. We're not going to say lines 1, we're going to just say on line, and then dot group. Let's go down here and come back to the bottom. Dot group 1, and that should give me the delimiter. And then I can say print line dot replace delim, comma, with a comma in there. And let's see how that looks. Oops, let's see, we messed something up here. Print line strip. There, extra closing parenthesis. For lines. I'm sure someone was yelling at the screen. Oh, that's not it either. You're probably still yelling at the screen. For line in lines. Come here again. Oh, end of file parsing. Let's see what we got. Missing a parenthesis there. Unexpected string or byte-like object. Let's see, what do we get here? This is where I do not know. So let's see. So right here, you can see over here, I'm on line 12. And so the next thing, this is, you've seen me probably put in import pdb, pdb.setTrace. The other way to do that is come over here, instead of the I'll do a module pdb, and then I can do command break on 12 and command continue so that it will run. And now it's going to run all the way to 12. So let's see what we got here. We got our re.search online. Oh, I already see it. It's not supposed to be lines. I called out verbally that I was going to fix it, and then I fixed it wrong. Let's see if making it line instead of lines fixes my problem. I bet that's it. So get this, break out of there, go back up without, and that looks pretty good. Other than, for some reason, it printed. Did I tell it to print line 1? that was silly. But make that line 0. And then the other thing I need to do is strip these lines because they're all printing extra end lines. So I can just put this here. And that is looking pretty good. This is a good place to check. You can check out my first video in this series where it shows exactly how to calculate this hash. But I can print this into the RunCode SHA-1 and get a result here, 6A, 9F, and see how does that compare to the expected. It does not match. So we're close, but we're not perfect yet. So let's take a look here at the expected output. I've got first name, comma, last name, kind of password, email you. That first line looks good. Okay. So I just printed the next line, but it looks like these are actually sorted. And it looks like they're sorted by first name. All right, so let's come back up here. And look, since the first name is the first part of the line, I can just do put sorted on here. Ooh, how I did that. Let's go ahead and see if that matches now. So it does. Now I got 0BFD, 0BFD, ending in EC, ending in EC. So this is an awesome example to say, look, I've got the exact same output and I must be done. Let's go ahead and upload it here. Submit. And we'll get it over here in just any second. Now, incorrect output. Well, how can that be? Because I didn't, I got the exact output they did. And this is where it's important to remember, they give you sample data, but they don't give you every sample data. And so it's important to be able to step back here and think, okay, what am I doing? What can I do differently? What could I be thinking about wrong? And how can I make my program more robust to different things they might throw at it? One thing that, if you look at what I'm doing here, I am finding the delimiter and then I'm just replacing it. And the error case that's going to come up there is, what happens if the delimiter is just the plain dot? And it's not, a single dot. What's going to happen is Rebecca.Sweeten at nonexistent.com is going to become Rebecca, Sweeten at nonexistent, com. And that is not what I want. So once I got that, there's actually something else I tried first in the competition. I thought, I wonder if I'm supposed to look at this first line, oops, let's go down here and zoom in on this. I wonder if this first line might be different in each one, and therefore I need to be able to say, oh, look, there's 6 values in the first line, therefore I need to look for 6 values versus maybe they give me a different length. And so I tried writing in here I kind of have hard coded. There's 1 delimiter, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought there'd be 6. Oh, because there's 5 values, 6 values, 5 delimiters. I've hard coded that in, but if they made it variable, I could write my regex in such a way that it variably looks for that. And I did do that. It did not solve my problem. I still got incorrect output. But then the next thing I thought of was this. Okay, what came back to is what if there's just a dot? What if there's just a dash as a delimiter? That would screw up these UUIDs. And so the way I solved it originally, and I'll show this first, and then I'm going to play around and see if I can make it look pretty, was to say, okay, I don't actually care. Let's go back over. Let's take this regex and go back to regex 101. I don't actually care about the delimiter. What I do care about is these 6 values. And so if I come over here and put capture groups around them, like so, let's see. Now my groups will have, let's see, it's not like that. My regex does not match anything. Let's see, what did I mess up? 1, 1. Oh, okay. So 1 is now this, and that's why it's not matching, because 1, for example, matches on Corey. So these are actually all 2s now. Let's see if this fixes it. Boom, that worked. And so now you can see over here on the first line, it matches the whole thing. And then group 1 is Corey, where group 2 is Byers, group 3 is this long, I don't know, it's probably password hash, email address, UUID, phone number. And all of those are matches. And so what's cool here is I'll take this back over, copy this, and go back over to Python. This is off the screen a little bit. And let's see, what's the best way to do this? Let's go to a new line, paste that in. Come in here, we'll do that. Matches equals re.search. And then we'll put our string in. And then we'll do line. And let's stop right there and see what matches looks like. So I'll do my PDB trick again. I want to break on line 14. So come up here and change B12 to B14. And again, I'm just looking over here at Vim telling me what line number I'm on. And didn't like it. Let's run it normally just to see what's going on. Is there an error here? No? Okay. Interesting. I wonder why it didn't break on 14. Oh. I wonder if I didn't save it. And that was working off an old version or something. There we go. That looks better. So I'm breaking on 14. If I hit L right now, I can see I'm on this print statement. And so I can look at matches. And I can look at matches.group. And I can see that the first, so group 0, for example, is the whole thing. Group 1 is the first name. Group 2 is the second name, or is the delimiter, which I don't want. Group 3 is the last name, 4, etc. I think I can do groups and get each of them. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm going to have all the pieces of data I want. Now, I actually don't want that delimiter in there. And there's a thing I can do in here so that it won't actually capture. And that is, I believe, to add the, let's try this out and see if it works. Add the question mark right at the start of the capture group. We can look, if this doesn't work, we'll look it up in Regex 101. Oop, that's not it. Let's see. Capture everything enclosed. Let's see. Python regex. Don't capture. How to match but not capture. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's question mark colon, I believe. Let's come to the answer. Yep, question mark colon. Try that. And we'll still break in the same place. We'll do matches dot groups. Do I have matches? Oh, I don't. It didn't match at all. Look at this a little bit more closely. Question mark colon. That should be it. I wonder if we messed up here. Let's go back to a known good here and see if this works. Okay, so that worked. Let's see. Did not expect this to be a difficult part here. I'm not sure about that. Maybe we'll just, when in doubt, we'll find another way around it. So we can do, let's just ignore it and let's work around it. We don't need to bother with it. So we've got matches.groups here. And what we really want is matches.groups sub 0 plus matches.groups sub 2 through the end. Is that going to work? I don't know if that's going to work. Let's do like that. How do we get rid of that one? Do this x for x in enumerate matches subgroups if I not equal 1. Is that gonna work for me? That looks nice. So what I did basically here is I did a list comprehension where I'm looping over. So when I run enumerate matches and groups, it's going to give me. In fact, we can just run that here and see. Not really. Okay, it doesn't expand out, but basically, it's gonna for each one, it's gonna give me where it falls in the. It's gonna give me a number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's gonna give me the value. And so I'm just gonna I'm gonna take the value, and I'm just gonna do if I is not equal to 1. So I basically drop this one out of there, and that's why I get this one I'm looking for. And so what I can do up here is I can then do comma dot join around that, and now I get a comma separated value. And so I can come down here, delete that after here, and do print. Put this in right here. Check it out, see if this works. That's looking pretty good. Let's do it again with the hash to see how it looks. This time it does match the RunCode hash, I believe. 0BFD. Yep, looking good. And let's pull this aside. Let's see. So we can upload this and see if it solves it. So one thing is to note on this website, when you upload something, that doesn't give you the submit button anymore. If you come up here and just hit this refresh, you will now have the submit button back, and we will submit comma.py again, submit, and any minute now we will see whether we still got incorrect output. That's interesting. Let's see. Not exactly sure. Let's see. So let's think about what we got here. We can start to one thing that's worth doing here. We can copy comma.csv and start to make some extra use cases. So comma more.csv, CVS, copy comma dot, hit in both places. Embarrassing. Let's see. CSV, vim, comma more. Let's come down here and make more examples. So yank, paste. Let's make the example where the delimiter is just dot. Make sure it looks good. Okay. And we'll do another one where the delimiter is the dash. So, like that. Don't touch the dot in the email. We don't touch the dashes in the UUID or the phone number. I bet you that's going to be a problem right there in how I did the UUIDs and the phone numbers. So we might need to make those more specific. Let's check that out and see what happens. So let's run this again. And let's look at these last ones. So we expect to see Charlene Pearson. Because we didn't run with the new input. Comma more, let's see. Okay, so we have 3 Charlene Pearsons now. They should all be exactly the same. In fact, why don't we get rid of that and put it into a grep of Charlene. I was saying Charlene Sharon. And where have we screwed this up? So let's see. Comma, comma, comma. That all looks good. That looks good. Okay, so here's something different. This one does a dash into the phone number and then replaces the comma here. So clearly one of them is getting wrong in this, is messing this up. So it's probably time to make our regex a little bit more robust. And so we'll come back here. I can't really change the name or the last name. This one, instead of doing word plus, I'm gonna go ahead and create a class. So it looks like it's all using lowercase and lowercase characters for hex. So like that. Is there a reason? Let's see, is it matching elsewhere? I need to close that, of course. There. Okay, so that's still good. For the email address, we can make it a little bit nicer. It's going to be, well, how would we do that? That might be, this is fine the way it is. But we do need to, what we can do is make these UUIDs much more specific. So instead of just doing W dash, we're going to come in here and we're going to do W. We don't even need to do, yeah, we'll just, for the sake of ease, we'll do W. We could always make this more specific. We could do the character class, hex characters. And that'll be, how many does that look? How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 dash / word. And now we have 4. 4 dash / word 4. That covers that one. Another 4. Okay, and then this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And boom, we got a match there. And then these digits, it's not just, again, let's make it less sloppy here. It's going to be digits 3 dash digits 3 dash digits 4. Get rid of that. And now we have a much more exact match. So we'll take this back here. Let's get you off the screen here. Come up here and paste that in. Let's comment out this one and do matches equals re.search r open bracket, and now we got a long way to go here to the end. Colon space or comma, close that out, comma line, and let's try now and see what it looks like. We do not like that. What do we do wrong? Multiple repeat at position 74. I'm wondering if somehow my brackets are getting screwed up. Let's see, 74 here. This is about to get really kludgy, but I think I may have actually done this in the real challenge. We're just gonna add these in one by one, 2, 3, and then we gotta do 12 of these. Oh, I wonder if it was because I had the plus on there. Well, we don't need the plus anymore. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then this will be a much easier. DD, DD, DDD. See if that works. Oh, and I don't need this plus here. And that worked. And now you can see it replaced the correct one. You know, so the phone number is intact, the UUID is intact. We're back over to our submission. Let's run it. Get it back on the screen and browse. Comma.py, submit. We wait a second and see if we get the right input or output. And we're still missing some edge cases here. So that is interesting. So, So I'm feeling pretty good about my matches here. One thing that might be the case is right now I'm doing a sort, and I'm doing the sort before. I kind of noticed this earlier when I had these 3 Sharons. I'm doing the sort before I replace the delimiter, which means the sort's going to happen on first name and then on delimiter that doesn't exist anymore. And thinking back to how I solved it originally, I don't think I put the sorted here. So what I'm going to try here is something. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to say new lines equals that. And instead of putting a print here, I'm going to say new lines plus dot append, like that. And now I can do print sorted new lines. And I don't actually want to join those. Let's see. So I'm probably going to do like that. Dot join, like that. 3. So let's give that a try and see if that looks right. I killed my thing. Let's see. Python, comma, and it was comma, more CSV. Yeah, what don't we like here? Got an extra parenthesis there. Looks reasonable. Let's do, where's my run hash here? No, you know, we've proven that's not everything, but let's check and see if, okay, so we're, that's one of those things that's necessary but not sufficient. So if it doesn't match, you got something to go make sure, check on. But if it does match, you may or may not have it. Let's try that and see if we, changing the sort order happened to fix it. Waiting, success. So we got it. So that's what it was. It was the sort order. Because I stopped for there for a second. It was, it felt like we had refined the solution. So one thing, and this is how I solved it originally. I think I actually did a search and actually did get the group here, get the separator here, and then did another regex search to actually pull that apart. Yeah, so let's see. The thing I wanted to do is to see if I could do this more cleanly and like a little bit prettier with like an actual regex. And I haven't tried this yet, so we're going to do this live. But I think what I can do here, back in regex 101, let's start. I've got my regex here that I'm happy with it. Let's switch to substitution mode. And what we can do is we can come down here and say, what we want here is match 1. Let's see, why is it not like that? So comma, okay, I can put a comma in there. I put capture group 2 is the whole thing. Pattern error. That's interesting. I wonder what we on. Let's see. Let's make sure we're on Python. Was that the problem? But we don't need that anymore. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so maybe we're just screwed up there. So if we come in here and we do %1, okay, that's looking good. So we have the first one, comma. Now %2 is the delimiter, which we don't want. So we're not gonna put that there. We can do %3. I keep saying %, backslash, /4, /5, /6, \7, oops, \7, and that is the end. That's what I want it to look like. So what I haven't tried, and we will try now in Python, let's see. Let's delete this one, save here. We'll copy that to comma sub pi. Oops, we need the original. And we'll open up that new one. And now we're going to come down here, and instead of this, we're going to delete that. We're going to say new line equals re.sub. And then, let's see, I always forget the exact syntax for there. Python re sub. I think let's go. This is where like I actually just want a Stack Overflow or an example or something. So it's the pattern, the replacement, and the string. So let's come back to the terminal. The pattern is the same. I need to figure out how to change this red text too. I've noticed on YouTube it doesn't actually show up that nicely. So sorry about that. Hopefully it's not too miserable. Now the substitution, what I want to come in is going to go here. And so I will grab that from right here. And then the line, so I get new line. And then I just want to do new lines dot end new line, just like before. Let's give that a try and see what happens. So we get comma sub.py, and we are not getting the same thing. That's a good chance to. Oh, we're not getting the same thing at all. Let's see. Seems like a case for PDB. Let's see, what line do we want to stop on here? 14. Minus M PDB minus command break on 14 minus C continue and run. So let's see, what does new line look like? Aha, so that didn't work. That's not what I was expecting there. I wonder if I need to put an R in front of this to make this a. Let's try that again. There we go. That looks better. So the R makes it like this is a raw string. It's what you use in regexes, and I'll be honest, I'm not totally up to speed on it, but typically if you're passing something into the regex module, you want it to be a raw string. So I'm just going to leave it at that and not try to explain something I don't understand. And the other thing I want to do is append new line dot strip. Let's make sure I don't get extra spaces. Let's run it now. That looks much better. Let's put it right into the hash. That matches still. And let's come over here and submit it. Get on the screen. We will refresh and submit it again. Submit the new one. And see what we get here and see if this succeeds. That did success. That actually did not take. I thought that was going to take forever. I did not think the first half of this video would take a half an hour, but the prettier way of doing it. So let's just looking at that again. In fact, I'm going to do it in Regex 101 so that the text shows up better. Basically, what I'm doing is a re.sub, and then I'm giving it this first one, and then I'm giving it the second one. So basically, the thing I'm building is going to be just this series of groups of captured values. Separated just by commas, and that creates a new line, and then I just append that to a list, sort it, and print it out, and that makes the result that we're looking for. That'll be the end. I'm going to wrap this one up. It took way longer than I expected. This was definitely the most fail I've had running through these things, but as much as my OCD self wants to go back and fix it, I always, when I watch other people do videos like this, I always learn a lot watching them troubleshoot, so hopefully this will be useful to you as well. Thank you so much for sticking around till the end, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.